Howdy folks, Donovan Quesenberry here with Christmas Light Contractors, and tonight we are going to be talking about how I am actually closing jobs right now in my personal install business. Some of the jobs you kind of see behind me, different houses, stuff like that, houses, trees. We're going to be talking about mainly residential right now, and tonight's not going to be a pay this much in marketing or do this one special little trick or here's the exact wording you need to put in an email. I'm going to break it up into a few segments. I actually put together a slideshow for everybody so to keep me on track, and hopefully we're going to try to keep this to an hour. But I have it broken into the first part of the slideshow is if you're brand new, you haven't closed a job before, what I would recommend. Hey, what's going on, man? We got the grounds guys in the house. And then the second part of the slideshow is for guys just like Nathan and stuff like that. So that are established businesses, what you would do. I'm going to go over briefly how to close over the phone, how to close on email, just online, and how to close in person. And then we're actually going to look at one of my quotes there at the very end, and we'll end with some Q&A. Now, I don't know if I'm doing something wrong, but on my computer, I'm having a tough time seeing all the comments. So I see them on my phone, which is where I'm filming, but I'm having a tough time seeing it on the computer. So can you guys do me a favor real quick? Can you leave a comment if you can hear me and everything, if everything's looking good? Can you leave a comment real quick? And I'm going to try to find on my computer. I'm going to spend maybe a minute trying to do that. And if that doesn't work, I'm just going to move on. Not seeing anything. What's that button down there? Oh, okay, all right, I found out. All right, very cool. So there's a button in the bottom of my corner, like a little need help button that's actually covering up the icon to access the chat. But I was able to click on it, so it is popping up. Very cool, very cool. Okay, well, I got a couple of housekeeping announcements before we get started. The first one is, all right, on our website right now, you can go to lights4sale.com. We have a code that ends today. Technically, it ended yesterday, but I don't think we got the word out for everybody. So I'm making the announcement right now. You can click on the little link right here. You use your phone, QR code, whatever you want to do. But Freedom Ship, that was Fred's idea. That's pretty cool. But it ends today. Shipping is usually like 10% of a bill. So we had an order just come through that somebody saved like $2 grand in shipping. But yeah, so today is literally last day. It's probably going to be at midnight or something like that. So if you guys need to put an order in, take advantage of that. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Okay, we got two in-person trainings this week. You can go to CLC Light Training to see our training schedule. The Raleigh one in North Carolina is sold out. Fred, I don't know if that's right. It's saying $89. So I don't know if that's a mistake. It should be like $750. But Fred, I was talking to him earlier today. He has one or two more spots at his training. I think he was trying to save it for local people, but I think that was just an $89 for local people, but maybe he messed up. But whatever. If you want to come to the training in Connecticut here at the end of the week, I'll go ahead and click that dang button for $89. That's ridiculously cheap. But if we made a mistake, then we'll honor it. But I think that pricing's a mistake. But there's a couple more slots in the Connecticut one. If you guys want to check that out, I'm telling you right now, I'm going to switch over to the next one. I don't want too many people clicking it. All right. And then if you guys are coming to the huge convention, all right, pricing went up. We told everybody pricing's going up. It was $99. Now it is $199. Here's the thing. We got limited space. We don't know if we're going to get a bigger room. And so it's probably going to be pretty packed there. Sorry, pricing went up $100, but this is going to focus on getting you to $100,000. So if you're brand new, make sure you show up very first thing in the morning, because before lunch is all for like getting you up to that mark, and after lunch is like scaling way beyond it. And we actually have a special guest speaker. We'll give more information on him. We'll release some of that information. But we got a special guest speaker that's coming who does $6 million worth of installs a year. It's not Patrick Walker. I know Patrick Walker brought the fire to Lighting Launch, our yearly conference in Gatlinburg this year. But this is a brand new speaker. Nobody has heard of him before. He's a secret weapon for CLC. And here's the cool thing. He's already helping people in our group close these huge jobs. So we're going to roll out some very cool programs at the Huge Convention. If you want to get the sneak peeks on what we're rolling out this year and you're already coming to the Huge Convention, go ahead and sign up for August 22nd. We're having an all-day lighting training. Okay, that is enough of my sales pitch. Let's go ahead and jump right into let's just jump right into how we are closing jobs right now. So, okay, can everybody see my tiny little head in the bottom of the screen? Can everybody see that? And can you see the slideshow that I just put up? Give me some feedback real quick in the comments if you guys can see that. It'd help if now I can't see the comments on my phone. That's fine. All right, I'm just going to assume that it's all working. All right, your big tiny head, yes. All right, perfect. So closing jobs in July. Let's start with what I'm seeing a lot of other people do. I'm seeing a lot of people go on there and say, hey, you get $300 off your install and go ahead and sign up. And I'm going to challenge you to think about what are some other ways that you can add value to your clients, add value to your quote, add value to your proposal so that you're not giving away. Freeland's saying in your little head. I see you in your little head. That's funny. So what are some other ways that you guys can get clients to commit right now and essentially go ahead and book? Like, why would a client give you a 50% deposit right now or 100%? We give people three options, to be honest with you. We say, you can do 100% now and just take care of it. You can do 50% now and 50% at the time of install, or you can do a payment plan. Now, in January, that's like a 10-month payment plan. I'm going to get paid 100% by October. So if I start in January, that's 10 months, January through October, that's a 10 payment plan. If you do it right now, it's like 4 months. July, August, September, October. Yeah, so it's 4 months, but that might still help somebody out with their budget. And I got no problem with that. The key is, all right, if you are, all right, if you have zero experience, okay, something I'm going to say right now is a job is not sold until you have collected some sort of deposit. I don't care if you charge 10% deposit. I don't. But the job is not sold until you collect a deposit. And guys, bear with me. If you guys are veterans in the industry, I am going to probably take about 10 minutes and explain to brand new people what our industry is, how to do it, because we got 20, 30 people watching right now. And I'm assuming we probably have some brand new people and some veterans. So veterans, I promise you, you're going to get a lot of value at the end of this video. Just bear with me for a few minutes. All right. So, let's go ahead and talk about what are professional Christmas lights, or a way of asking this is, what's the difference between professional Christmas lights with what we do? You can see it a little bit here in the background, and commercial grade Christmas lights versus box store business lights or homeowner grade. All right. Typically, we are going to refer to professional grade lights as the bulbs are interchangeable. Okay, the line, you can actually cut the line. So there on the bushes in the background photo, the lights that are on the bushes are called mini lights, but the lights that are outlining the sidewalk, those are called C9 SPT1 wire. That SPT1 wire, you can actually cut it, add the male plug and add the female plug. So when I'm outlining the sidewalk or outlining the roof, I can make it perfectly fit that building when I'm designing. No extra, no short. All my power wires are custom cut, so it's a much higher quality. It's a much more refined look, and we charge accordingly. What we are not doing is we are not handymen who are hanging the customer's lights. And I'm jumping ahead a little bit on what we shouldn't do, but that's not what we're doing when we say offer a professional Christmas light service to your clients. Typically, we're talking about either selling them the product and which is professional grade, and then upcharging your labor, or you do an all-inclusive model where you're actually the closest thing is like leasing, where you're providing the product, You own the product. You're providing the labor. You're maintaining it throughout the whole season. You're taking it down. You're storing it. If they don't sign up next year, they don't own the product. Or if they want to change their design, they don't have to buy all brand new products. So that's the difference between a lease and a sell. I personally, all my residential, I 100% lease all my residential jobs. Most of my commercial I lease as well, but sometimes if it's a big city or if I'm dealing with a big, huge project, I'll sell them, 6 figures worth of commercial displays, and because that comes out of a different budget, and that way I can get my money increased that they're willing to pay me, because they have one budget for buying stuff and they have another budget for paying for the yearly service of having it put up and taken down and stored and stuff like that. Now, even when I'm selling them, I'm up charging for storing it, for moving it to the job site, away from the job site, for receiving it, unloading shipping containers. Like, I'm up charging for all of that stuff. So just keep that in mind. I personally would say if it's your very first year and you're going to focus on residential, I would highly encourage you to focus on a all-inclusive holiday lighting package. I don't call it leasing. I call it a all-inclusive holiday lighting package. Why do I do that? Because there's no legal precedent on all-inclusive holiday lighting package. There is legal precedent on leasing. So you can look into that. Laws in your area, blah, blah, blah. Hit me up later and we can talk more about it. All right. What decorations should you avoid? All right. And again, this is a brand new person. What I want you to focus on is residential, and you're going to avoid anything that is unique. A client saying, hey, can you install this inflatable helicopter, Snoopy helicopter on my roof? I brought up that example because year one I did that. Could you install my lights? Could you install icicle lights? Could you install, I want a lettering going across my roof saying Merry Christmas. Like, that is all unique. That's not C9 bulbs along the roof line. It's not, there you go. This is what you should offer, okay? A wreath and bulbs along the roof line and maybe some bushes and stuff like that, right? What we're not, that right there is customized, okay? But we're doing the same thing at every job. We're outlining the roof, we're putting up wreaths, we're putting lights on bushes. So that's what you should focus on, and you should avoid anything that's a one-off type request, or you should avoid hanging the client's lights. What type of job should you avoid hanging clients' lights? A client who complains about all of their previous people that they've hired. A person who is not willing to, what about custom colors? Yeah, I can talk about that. A person who is unwilling to pay the deposit. Look, when you book a hotel room, you put a credit card on file. When you do anything, you put a card on file. You pay a deposit. And so that's an indicator of one thing, either a bad client or you have a bad sales process. Hopefully I'll help you with that later on in this video, but you have a bad sales process and you're not conveying value to your client. But anybody who's a little leery of that, my big red flags are anybody who complains about all of the previous people ever working for them. I say that's not a good fit and I move on. All right. How do we price? Okay, so let's talk about the roofline lights. Roofline lights, I'm okay. Again, I'm referring to people with zero experience. I am okay with you charging little to get your first 1, 2, or 3 jobs and then raise your pricing. Your biggest referrals, and we'll talk about this in a little bit, but your biggest referrals and your biggest lead generation and your highest closing rate are going to come from those existing clients, okay? Your mom, who has never hired you before and to actually put up lights, a non-paying customer who is referring you, okay, you're not going to get the results that they promised. You're not going to get the results that you think by not charging somebody or doing a job for free. But I'm okay with, on your first 1, 2, 3 jobs, to get your foot in the door, to get your foot in the market, to get some awesome photos like this. I'm okay with you charging $5, $6 a foot, and you're only making $1 or $2 a foot once you factor in your insurance and your labor and your materials and everything else. I'm okay with that for 1, 2, or 3 jobs. My advice to you is don't stay at that pricing. At a minimum, you should be $6 this time of year. Minimum. Everybody, I don't care where you are in the US, like, you should be $6 a foot, or really looking at your value-added process. For C9 light bulbs along the roof line. Okay, I want to break even on all my wreaths, everything. Like, if I'm buying a $400 wreath, okay, it's going to be a minimum $450 to install that wreath every single year. Why is that? It might blow down and fall. The sun might fade it, whatever. On any of my materials, my big purchases, I'm trying to make my money back year one. That's how I charge for wreaths and stuff like that. On mini lights, like what's on the bushes, that way. All right. What's on the bushes are called mini lights. They come in a set of 25 foot, and we're charging between $25 and $55 per set of mini lights. Why would it be 25 bucks? It would be 25 bucks if, you know, we're putting up 10,000 strands maybe or something like that. It might fall somewhere between 25 bucks and then plus lift rental and whatever. But on average, we're going to be at a low end for bushes. We're going to be $35. If it's a complicated type design, if I'm wrapping branches on a tree or it's really tall or if I need a lift or something like that, I'm not charging additional for it. It might average out to be around $55. If it's a pain in the ass type, if it's a pain in the butt, I apologize. If it's a pain in the butt type job, then I'm higher. If it's an easier, simpler job, I'm a little less. But good rule of thumb is $35 to $55 per strand of mini lights, and $6 to $10 a foot for your C9 bulbs outlining the roof. And a good place to start for a 60-inch wreath is 400 bucks. How do we collect money? All right, always charge a deposit. Always. I don't care what it is. If they're gung-ho, they're excited and everything else. Until they pay the deposit, I charge 50%. I don't see any reason why not to charge 50%. I know a lot of companies that just say pay it 100% in advance or you don't get a spot on my schedule. So I charge 50% deposit and 50% at the time of install. Does that mean if they're not home that I'm not going to put up the lights? No, it means that is the expectation. I tell them that on the quote. I tell them that when we have a booking confirmation. I tell them that when we're on the way to the job. I tell them that when we're done with the job. And then I harass them to pay as soon as that job is done, and I collect all my money. If you let it go till after Christmas to collect anything, that means all the taken down is paid for at the time of install, right? If you wait till after Christmas, you're not going to get paid. Right? Just plain and simple, you're not going to get paid. You can go take your lights down. You might get your lights back, but you're out. You're out your labor money. Okay, now, brand new person, how do you get your first customer? This whole slide is about get the word out. So what I would like for everybody to do in the comment section right now is type the words, get the word out, and then give everybody one idea about how they can get the word out about their business. So if you're an established business owner, if you're a veteran in the industry, please help out the new guy. And in the comments, put get the word out, and then your tip for getting the word out. Here's what I will tell you. This time of year, there is no catalyst. Catalyst is something that it's like the spark to a fire. It's a thing that initiates change in a chemical reaction. It's called a catalyst, whatever. So get the word out. Brian said Facebook ads, okay? But you need some sort of get the word out, yard signs. These are all basic things. Now, when I'm also saying get the word out, one big one that I'm pretty sure somebody's going to is reach out to your existing. Hunter didn't follow the rules. He didn't put get the word out. He just said door knocking. But I'm messing with you, Hunter. So tap into your existing spheres of influence, okay? And so what do I mean by that is if you have somebody at church, if you are running an existing business, a service business, reach out to those people and let them know that you are in business, okay? You have to get 1,000 business cards and hand them out one at a time to other service providers, to anybody you know. Like, get the word out is the best thing that you can do right now. You can do it in person, you can do it with your existing clients, and you can do it online. Now, what I would caution you to do is I would caution you against spending a lot of money right now. So Facebook ads. I know some people that they get no results off Facebook ads. I know guys that spent $25,000 last year on Facebook ads, and they didn't close a single job, okay? So what I would encourage you to do is right now focus on building your online brand, on your online reputation. Everybody should think, again, if you're a brand new person, everybody should think when you talk to them on the phone that you've been in business for 25 years. My very first quote, the client said, I know that you do this all the time. What do you think about this, that, and the third? And in my head, I was like, I better be able to communicate very well, very fluently, and have a well thought out design and a well thought out process. And they should think that I've been in business. I'm an established business owner in this area. So that's what I mean by get the word out and have a good online presence. All right. We'll come back at the end of this and talk about some of the suggestions for brand new people. All right. Here are your steps for starting with $0. Okay. I am going to encourage you to get the word out, and you're going to get leads coming in. You're going to learn how to make a design. We have other lives on that, and you're going to learn how to get that quote out, and you're going to sell your first job. I know I just made that sound simple, but we're talking about you sold your first job. You collect that 50% deposit, and then go and buy. Here you go. All right. So click on this right here, and what you can do is you can click on that QR code or whatever. Take a screenshot if you want, but click on that, and you're gonna collect a deposit. This is a 1,000-foot starter package, but we actually have them as low as 100-foot starter packages on the website. But in 100-foot starter package is like $150 or whatever. But you're gonna collect a deposit, and then you're gonna buy lights. This right here, if you look at 1,000-foot. It's $1,200. It comes with free shipping. So that means that your cost per foot is $1.27. Okay. So it's $1.27 for the materials. This starter package comes with everything you need to outline the roof line of a house. So you buy the starter package. All right. So you buy the starter package, and then that's going to get to you. We have shipping. All right, thank you for the screenshot. So we have 2-day shipping anywhere in the U.S. So if you buy this, you collect the deposit, you're going to get your product in 2 days. So tell the client, hey, I'll be able to install this in 5 days or something like that. Don't tell them that you'll be out there in 3 days. Give yourself some grace period in case UPS loses it and we have to overnight it or something like that. But go ahead and buy the starter package. You get it. Put all the lights up, and then collect your other 50%. And with that, you can pay for marketing. You can invest it in marketing or whatever. So what you can do is wash, rinse, repeat. I did that my first year. I literally started with $0. I went, sold a job, collected deposit. I received it in a couple of days. I installed it. I collected the remaining 50%, and then I paid for Google ads. Or no, I think I did yard signs or something like that. Yard signs took like 2 weeks to get there. So I just kept doing the same thing. Wash, rinse, repeat. And I wasn't out of pocket year one. I didn't make much money. I made like 20 grand, but it was a proof of concept. I could try out a new service, and I didn't have to come out of pocket for anything. So that is basically the easiest way to start with $0. So you can check this out. You can go and check out like online training for free and stuff like that. Our YouTube channel. We have tips from a pro series and stuff like that. How to start that. Okay. Terms of service. Okay. You know what, guys, we're running out a little bit of time. I've shared this before quite a bit. I'll come back to this at the end. I'll talk about my terms of service. Let me see if I have it up. I'll go ahead and start opening it so I can talk about it later. But I'll come back to this slide at the end. If anybody wants to know, if anybody actually wants me to read the terms of service of like my contract when I send it out on the quote, put that in the comment section, and I'll come back and answer that at the end of this video. Okay, now let's move on. For this is where I'm at right now. I'm an established business owner, and I'm assuming that probably a lot of people watching this are also established business owners. And this is what you're here to talk about. I kind of, in the slideshow, I changed the background on this. So the previous background was kind of like beginner. This background, the slides on that are for established people. I'm just trying to reiterate of who I'm talking to so that nobody is losing track of the advice. The last thing I want you to do is, if you're a brand new person, please don't try to jump ahead and do a lot of these things until you've gotten the first few jobs sold, until you've gotten the ball rolling, and vice versa. If you're like an established business owner, please don't assume that my advice for you is what I just read for the brand new person. All right. So for an established business owner, here are my questions for you. Have you followed up? And I want you to actually answer these to yourself. This is an audit this is an audit that you should be doing for yourself and your own business. That I could rename this slide to self-audit or business audit. Have you followed up with your 2023 clients? Now, when I say follow up, I mean communicated, connected. Have you talked to every person who has signed up in 2023? Which means that you emailed them, you texted them, you phone called, you got a response from each and every person. Now, the next thing that you do once you follow up with every single person from 2023 is, have you followed up with previous clients who did not renew in 2023? Look, last year might have been a tough year. They might have been moving. They might have had a death in the family. They might have been going through a divorce. They might have changed jobs. There could be a million scenarios why they did not sign back up with you. But this year, their personal circumstances could be completely different. Maybe they tried out one of your cheaper competitions, had a horrible experience, and they've lost touch with you, and they're waiting for you. You know, they would love it if you reach back out to them and say, hey, what would it take to, you know, last year you didn't sign back up with us. I drove past your house and there were no lights up. I wanted to check with you and see if everything was okay. Or, you know, what would it take to earn your business in, what year is this? 2024, right? So what would it take to earn your business back in 2024? And that's all that following up is. All right, those are going to be your next round of like higher conversion rates. Now, the last one is, I probably have, I don't know, 10,000 leads of people that never purchased from me. You can set up an email campaign, a text message campaign, a voice blast campaign to all these people. You could set up a really good deal for these people to fill out your schedule earlier in the year. Like, hey, if you, I could get you a really good deal for just your roof line, you know, or some sort of like very high call to action hook, right? You can say, hey, you know, I know you didn't hire us last year, but we're offering a $4.99 Christmas light special. Reach out to us if you're interested and get more information. And $49.99 and $4.99 is like for the first 100-foot of roof line, or you develop a $4.99 package for their home. This is what I can do for your home for $4.99. Now look, you're going to have to set it up so that you win, but the whole point of this is to get more conversations going right now. And the thing is they might say, you know what, I'm not interested, but then their coworker asks them about it, or there's somebody at church brings it up, or they're whatever, and they're like, you know, this is a really great company. I couldn't afford it, but give Donovan a call at NC Christmas Lights. That's what you're trying to do. And if you're an established company, you should spend most of your time with last year's clients, then previous clients, and then all of your leads. You will get much better results than if you're running Facebook ads right now and just getting brand new cold leads. All right. The next thing is, how do you communicate with your clients? When I'm saying follow up, are you connecting with them? Random question, what's my average ticket? I'll come back and answer that because I'm 30 minutes in and I got half my slides still. I'm right on track for finishing in the hour mark. So I'll come back and answer that for you, Carl. So how do you communicate with your clients? When I say communicate, I should replace that with connect. Are you connecting with your clients? That means doing whatever it takes to build a relationship with your clients. When you're communicating, are you connecting and building a relationship? Because here's the thing, I'm not selling on a discount, I'm selling on me. And the next thing is there someone in your company that does a better job? Or how did you present the value of signing up to your client? Okay, the value of signing up, a lot of people are just saying, well, sign up now and you get $100 off. My thing is, well, I'll answer that question. My average ticket is over $2,000. Why would they care if they get $50 off or $200 off or, you know, whatever? Or why would I give them such a big discount that it would actually matter to them? You know, they're willing to pay over $2,000 for Christmas lights. They don't give a rat about a $200 discount. That doesn't mean anything to them if that's the only value I'm providing right now. But maybe I reach out to them and I say, hey, look, you can pick your exact install date. Is there anything special that we could do for you? You know, I'm reaching out to you now. Do you have an anniversary coming up that maybe we could come out and light up this one tree for you between now and Christmas? What other value? What can you do for your clients? Do you know of a good charity that we could donate a lighting package to? When you sign up right now, we're looking for input on that. Here's how we're giving back to the community. Here's how, There's a lot more value that you can present to people, and people are happy to be part of MC Christmas lights, not just get cheap lights put up on their house. So that's what I mean to establish companies by how did you present the value of signing up now? Because there's value in signing up now. They just don't know it yet. I have to communicate that to them. That's my job. That's not their job. That's my job to communicate that value to them. Now, here's something, and I see Fred Zimmerman just posted this, okay, or just made a comment. So what I will say is there someone on your team who is better at closing than you? Because what I see is a lot of people are putting in all this work. Established companies and brand new businesses are putting in all this work, okay, and they're getting all the way to the finish line, and then they're it's like you've seen it, the people who don't power through the finish line, and they're out there gloating and they're like trotting through, and then somebody who's lagging catches up and gets first place. Well, that's what I see a lot of business owners doing, brand new people and established. So is there somebody in your organization? For me, it's my wife. My wife closes. She just says, here's what it is, guys. She doesn't give discounts. She doesn't, all of my ideas, when we come up with a plan, we talk about, we get on the same page. Have you done this? Have you done that? She's not good at implementing new ideas and building the business. That's not her strong suit. But the woman closes and she follows through on the plan. She'll follow a phone script. She'll follow an email script, and she will get results. Guess what? I may set up the big plan and all that, but Lauren is the one right now who's communicating with a lot of our clients. Look, we have a CSR. We have a lot of this, but Lauren is the best. Right now, she has time to handle it. Now, in season, we have an army of people that have to handle our quotes. We might get 100 new requests in a day. No one person can handle that. You got to have a small army. But right now, you know, when we're at an 80% closing rate, because the leads are coming from referrals and existing clients and all this, and we're at 80% closing rate, that is worth my wife spending, my highest closer spending a lot of time with each lead that's coming in. It's worth it right now. Now in October, when we got 100 leads in a day and our closing rate from brand new cold called leads are like at 5% or 10%, it's not worth it for my wife to be involved with every single thing. But I would encourage you to think about that. That's something that Fred had to come to a realization that his wife was a lot better at quoting these things than he was. I'm in the same boat. And so when it was available, Caitlin isn't working in Fred's install business anymore. She actually runs Christmas light contractors. She's basically the operations officer for CLC. A lot of people don't know that. But when she was running Fred's install business, it was awesome. Since then, Fred has had virtual assistants, and he does a lot of, he had to implement a lot of other things because that just isn't Fred's strong suit. Same thing for me. I got to do the same thing. All right, I've talked about discounts. I want to reiterate, I'm not saying never give a discount. I'm saying don't let it be the only tool in your toolbox. A discount is a tool, all right? Every time my client asks for a discount, guess what? I have margin. I want everybody to guess right now, the photo in the background, not like on the slideshow background, the one that's big and whatever. So we're outlining the roof, and we have a 60-inch wreath, and we have a bow, and it looks like the client put up the garland. That doesn't look like my garland. That doesn't look like 14-inch garland. So maybe the client put up the garland and did those two little trees. I don't know. But let's assume that I put up the garland. I did those two little trees on either side of the door. We put the 60-inch wreath and a bow up, and we did the roof line. I want everybody to guess right now in the comments, how much did I charge for that job? All right, I have the answer, so I already know, but I want everybody to guess. I'm going to make a point. Okay? The point that I'm making is that job right there, it's a really steep roof line. We're charging a very good amount. That wreath right now, it's $300 to $400 for that wreath. That bow is $50 for the bow. Yeah, $2,400. I think you're right on the money. I think we're actually north of that a little bit, Andrew. So Andrew guessed $2,450. We were right at about $2,800 for this job. Now, if a client asks for a discount, I'm going to say absolutely. You know, what were you thinking? If they're like, well, you know, Nathan, I like your thinking. You waited till I said 2,800 and then you typed 2,800. Nathan, you are a man that can run a business. Because you're going to copy what's successful. You're going to get the answers and just duplicate it. I like it. But here's the thing. If it's $2,800, okay, I can give a $200 discount. I give a 10% discount, right? Which is $280. I'm still at $2,500 for this house. It takes my guys 2-3 hours to put it up. I'm okay with that, right? So all of the jobs I bid, I can automatically give Freeland. Dude, that is one of my pet peeves. $27.99. Oh gosh, I bet you somebody in my organization does that, but I never do it. I just can't do it. I'll do $28.01 before I do $27.99. That I don't know why. I got a stubborn streak in me, but but every time, that's how I price it. And here's the other thing. I made a mistake year one. I didn't have any support. I never went to training. I watched like 5 YouTube videos and then I figured it out myself. And so year one, I line item my takedown, and that was quote unquote a mistake. I charged $75 per takedown. I have that on all my quotes. So if somebody's like, hey, can you give me a discount? And I was like, I'm never just going to say yes, and I'm never going to quote unquote split the difference, right? I will say yes if you approve the quote right now, right? It's a discount as a tool. Yes, if you approve the quote right now. Yes, I will do that if you approve the quote right now. Or I really don't have that margin. I'm going to be 100% upfront with you. I was trying to get your pricing very close to your neighbors. I know your neighbor referred to you, but in all honesty, they're at a lower rate. They've been with us for like 4 years now, so they pay a lower rate. I was trying to give you the same pricing per foot. So based on my business model right now, I don't have the room to give you that big of a discount. But what I can do for you is I will do takedown for free. So what I did there is I said a discount, maybe it was $150, and I said, or $200 discount, and I said, you know what, I can't give you that discount, but what I will do for you is I'll do this. I'll do takedown for free, which is only $75. So I have it on all my quotes right now. It could be a $5,000 quote, and I got a takedown on there for like $300 or something. And a lot of times I was like, hey, you know what, I'll give you takedown for free. Right? Or if we're out of something, if we fall short or whatever, and like, I am so sorry, Mrs. Jones, that we didn't get it up by the 22nd. I get it up on the 23rd. I'm so sorry. My guys are coming out there first thing in the morning to get that up. I apologize to you. What I'm going to do is I'm not going to charge you for takedown this year. That's only $75. They just appreciate it. So I have discounts built into my quoting. Don't quote something so cheap that when you finally get that fish that you're trying to reel in, that you don't have discounts as a negotiation. And also, there's some cultures where it is expected to negotiate. And so that's my advice for you on discounts. Don't lead with it, but have it built into your pricing so that you can offer it if that's the only thing standing between you and a closed job. Referrals, okay? On average, year-round, we close 70% of our referrals. Now, Facebook ads is something that Facebook leads, we're 5% or less. Let me repeat that. If a lead comes from a referral, I'm closing 70% of those, 7 out of 10, okay? If the lead is coming from a Facebook ad, I'm closing 5 out of 100 or less. All right, think about this. If it takes you 10, 15 minutes to put this quote together, times 100, and you only close 5 of them, how much time did you invest to get those 5? A lot. Versus from a referral, you do 10 of those quotes times 10, 15 minutes, right? And you close 7 of them. So this is key. Your entire marketing strategy for getting leads should be built around getting referrals, okay? And that means Google GMB. That means asking for a referral. That means taking care of your clients, going above and beyond. Here's something to consider. If you are doing paid Facebook ads and it's cost per click, and somebody's like, I got my cost per click, I got my cost per lead down to $2.50, which is complete BS. But the marketing people will say that. My cost per click, I got my cost per lead down to $5, okay? Listen to what I just said, okay? So that's $5 times 100 is $500. Okay, divided by 5 at best, which is $100 customer acquisition cost at best. Typically, I'm less than that. And I've never seen somebody say that a Facebook lead only cost them $5. It's usually like $10 or whatever. So your customer acquisition cost, realistically, from your other marketing is probably $100 minimum, probably closer to $200 to $300 to acquire one client. Okay, so if you take that money and somehow add more value, pour it more. I drive around at night, obviously, and take photos. That isn't a professional photo. That's myself or my wife driving around, taking a photo of the job at nighttime, and we buy poinsettia flowers and drop them off and put our business card in there. That only cost me $7 because I'm buying a couple hundred of them. Cost me $7 a client. I get photo books and I leave them, and I do a lot of other things, and I'm going to spend $100 to $200 for every client to like them, love me, and encourage them to give a referral, right? Instead of giving a discount, what's your favorite restaurant? You find out that information. Hey, what's your wife's favorite restaurant? Okay, I got something special coming in the mail. And you write a hand note and you get a $50 gift certificate to their favorite restaurant. You know, hey, Mr. Jones told me that you've done this. I wanted to pay for a date night. Or don't be cheap. Give a $100 gift card. I just wanted you guys to have a date night on Christmas lights or on NC Christmas lights, right? It's personal. I'm spending that money with the client. Everything I'm doing is to get an online referral or to get an in-person actual referral. What's an online referral? Referral is a review, right? A review is a referral that lasts the lifetime of your business. How are we doing on time? All right, 15 minutes. Okay, spending money. A lot of other people talked about this. So spending money to get leads. You can do Facebook ads. You can do Google ads. You can do Google guaranteed if you have an electrical license. You can get Google guaranteed, which is going to be better than Google ads. Here's the thing. For Facebook, you're kind of creating demand. People are just scrolling through Facebook. They happen upon your ad, and all of a sudden, boom. Oh, wow, I wasn't thinking about lights. Now I am. For Google, they have to go to Google and search for it. So if nobody in your area is installing professional grade lights, you probably need to focus more money on generating demand than capturing demand. Website, okay, yard signs. Not necessarily EDDM to everybody, but what I would do is I would analyze. Again, we're talking to people with existing businesses. I would go through and analyze a client avatar of who is your client, and also do research on those people, okay? I would venture to guess, I've done the research, people buying a house are more likely to pay for Christmas lights that year. If they bought lights, they're more likely. So maybe instead of doing EDDM, you do a concentrated, you get a list. You go to a local company, a local print shop that does targeted mailers. So instead of paying EDDM, which is, I don't know how much it is, 14, 15 cents a card, you might be paying 35 cents a card, but it's targeted to your a couple in this income range and these zip codes who just bought a house. You're snipering, you're not just shotgunning it. Does that make sense? And my biggest thing to you is don't spend any money until you've done the other things that I talked about, which is reach out to your existing list and your existing spheres of influence. Do all of those other things first, and then spend money later in the year. Because if you spend $1,000 right now on Facebook, the best return that I've heard of right now, and that's the best return, is a 5 times marketing spend was the best return. So if you spend $1,000, you close $5,000 worth of work. That number will get better in October and November, okay? So that's my advice for spending money. Okay, guys, now we're moving to, here's the thing. If you guys got any more questions about acquiring jobs, if it's your first year, anything like that, put them in the comment section. I promise I'll go back and read them. But I want to get to the meat and potatoes. Here, people, here's the meat and potatoes. So if we're uploading this to, what about permanent? Okay, we'll talk about permanent at the end of this. But this is the meat and potatoes, closing the job. This is the difference between people who have 100 leads and not getting people signed up right now, and people who have 100 leads and they're getting signed up right now. That's what we're here to talk about. We got 15 minutes to get through it, and we got 5 minutes per section. So closing jobs online. Look at the house behind us. So I think the background just changed again, right? Yeah, okay, cool. So this is the next section. So I did it all right. So the house behind us. Think about how you could close this job online versus in the phone, over the phone versus in person, okay? So online, what I'm going to do is try to get a good photo of this house. I'm going to get my point of reference and try to guesstimate how many feet, how tall are the bushes. I'm going to go to Google Earth and I'm going to measure the driveway from the aerial view, right? This house has a lot of, it does this number, but then it also goes backwards into the roof line. So you can't just get a 2D front image and get all your linear footage that way. You got to have to also get a top-down image where you can see the cutbacks, where the roof line's going back into the roof, and you're putting lights up there because it eats up a lot of lights. So you got to learn how to bid all that. And then online, what doesn't sell a job is your strictly price. What doesn't sell a job is quality of the lights. What sells a job is your passion and visuals, okay? I can explain 60-inch wreath, and look, that wreath on that gate, the gate opens like this, that wreath splits in half. So half of the wreath goes over here, half of the wreath goes over there, okay? And up on those three gables, okay, that's all, those are 3 60-inch wreaths. So this client spent, what's that, $1,200 to $1,600 just on renting out wreaths for the year, right? And so you don't want to just send them a photo of just the wreath. But when I'm bidding this online, I'm going to talk about this in another example here, but when I'm bidding this online, I'm sending them this photo of a wreath. I'm actually sending a closer up one. But what I don't do is only zoom in on the wreath and only show like a round circle just of the wreath. You got to convey value and quality, and then you do that with pictures. That's why if you're brand new, you want to get that starter package, that 100-foot starter package. And I guess I'll pop that back up here. So if you're brand new, this is a 1,000-foot starter package. You can click on it, and it brings you over to the website. Or you can also just get a 100-foot starter package, okay? And what you do is you take that 100-foot starter package and you put it up on your house, and you take a photo straight on and from the side and just showing the light bulbs across the gutter. And you do a little video like where you're panning around, and you take a photo of your truck, and you turn that 100-foot of lights that cost you $170 or whatever it is, and you turn it into 10, 15 really great photos. If you live in a small house, just focus more on the lights than you do on the overall house, right? There's ways of doing it where you can convey a lot of value. But yeah, what you want to do is just click on that link, and then that'll bring you to where the starter packages are. But there's actually a 100-foot starter package that you can check out if you're brand new. You can do 15-inch or you can do 12-inch, whatever works for you guys. But what you want to do is you want to have really good quality photos. You can get those right now, add them to your online marketing and stuff like that. But the thing that closes jobs is your passion for what you're doing and your photos. All right. So here is one of my actual quotes. All right. You guys put this on full screen. Give me 1 second. I'm going to make it full screen on my computer so that I can read it. But what you're going to see on my quotes is, oh, that is already full screen. All right. So I'm just going to get really close to the camera. Oh, it cut out my face. Oh, there we go. Now you can see my beautiful face again. Okay. So anywho, at the top, my first line item, I'm using Java or CRM. So there's other CRMs. You want to have something, if you're quoting online, to keep track of all the quotes that you're sending out. And then you also want to have the ability to archive that quote if you are, say, given a discount or something like that. When you get to the busy season, that's why you don't just text a client a price or whatever. You send it to them with a CRM. And if you're doing it online, you have line items. I do a la carte. You can do packages, however you want to do it, but it's clearly defined. You got a design photo. Look. I got food with me, so it is a real life. But I have a design photo, and then I have line items that correlate to each design photo. So I believe on the next slide, there's my design photo. All right. So the red outlining the roof is one line item. The orange circle is a 60-inch wreath. The pink bushes are one line item, and the blue bushes are another line item. Okay. So let's go back here, and if you see design photo is the first line item, and then go down to house outline basic. That's your red. Bushes mini lights, and then trees mini lights. So those colors coordinate to the design photo. Okay. Now, like I said, to convey value, you have a design photo, but if you just send the client this photo, that doesn't convey value. On the line item, you will see that each line item has an example photo. For the design photo line item, it's the picture of the house, but for each of those line items for house outline basic, this is house outline basic. Okay. And if I was going to see, I don't know if that's actually a 60-inch wreath. It looks like it. Oh, then it might actually be this house. Okay, cool. So I did this right. So I did the slide right. Okay. So for house outline basic, that is actually this house. If I wanted to send them for the line item of 60-inch wreath, I would send them this. This is what it looks like. That's a lot better than the photo only being like this donut-shaped, Cheerio-shaped wreath, and it's all zoomed in, and all you can see is the wreath. Okay? Same thing for the bushes. I'm not just zooming in on one bush. I'm showing what it can actually look like. So that's what I'm saying. This is my house outline basic design photo. And for each of the design photos, or for each of the line items, I have a little bit different photo that's showing different examples. But what that's doing is it's conveying value. Now, if you would like to, once the quote is approved, you can maybe change it and put in photos of the actual house so it doesn't confuse people. But that's what I found for closing online is you got to have a good CRM system. You got to be able to give pricing, give options. So that way it's not just a yes or no. It's a here's your options, whether you do a la carte like I do, or you give like package A, package B, package C. And so for me, clients can actually check each box that they want to do. It's automatically calculated. The photos convey the value of it, and then they can also pay the deposit. In order to approve this quote, they have to pay that deposit. So those are my tips for online. Okay, so closing jobs over the phone, and we're running out of time. I spent 10 minutes on that, so this one's probably, well, I'll cut in person short. Okay, closing over the phone, because this is really important. You're probably going to talk to every client over the phone, so I want you to have the ability to close over the phone. You don't need to go in person. You just absolutely don't need to. And those clients that call you, if you just respond with an email or a text message and they called you, you're going to have a lower closing rate. So if that client emailed you, respond by email and with your online. If you're doing it over the phone, maybe you do a hybrid. What we do is we say, hey, have we worked with you? Here are the steps. Have we worked with you before? Okay, build a connection. And then I have a transition question where I ask them a question, and from there, I go into my spiel. Then it's a, how does that sound? Then it's a close. All right. So let me just give you an example. Hey, Mrs. Jones, thank you. Or hey, this is Donovan with NC Christmas Lights. How can we help you today? Well, absolutely. We hang lights. We can definitely help you out with that. And let me. What's your name again, Mrs. Jones? Okay, Mrs. Jones. Let me ask you a question. Right? Have you had professional lights installed before? That's my transition question. All right. Now, if Mrs. Jones says yes, then I go into awesome. Well, let me tell you how my company does it in case it's a little different than what you've experienced before. Or if Mrs. Jones says no, I say, awesome. Let me tell you how my company does it. So because it's probably a little different than what you're expecting. And I then go into my spiel, value add. I've built a relationship with her before I asked her that question, okay? So I know how to add value. I know what to talk to her about. But I ask her a question, and that then gives me permission to sell myself and to sell the service. All right, I already built a relationship, so I know that she's either a price buyer. I know that she's has a big corporate event coming up, and she's on a timetable. So here's the difference. Let me tell you about my company because it's probably a little different than what you're expecting. We are absolutely going to be able to deliver because X, Y, and Z. Right? We're going to be able to meet your budget because the way that we quote it, everything's a la carte. So if you want to go with the Clark Griswold, okay, you can go with everything, or you can just do your roof line. So we're very conscious of people's budget. How does that sound to you? Awesome. Well, let me do this. If I got time this time of year, I'll go ahead and spend time with them on the phone. Send me a photo, send me this, send me that, whatever. And then I'll close them. I'll try to go ahead and close them on the phone, right? If it's a reoccurring client, I'll close them on the phone. I don't need to do the whole email thing or whatever. I found it's a little bit easier to gather that information, say, I think we're on the same page about your design. Give me 15 minutes. I'm going to send it over to you. I'm going to email it to you, and I'm going to text message it to you. And then just follow up with me, and I'll follow with you here in about an hour or two at the end of the day or something like that. And then you do a hybrid of the phone call versus online. Okay? So, guys, we're sitting right at an hour. In person, here's my steps real quick for in person. I can't spend a lot of time on it. That'll have to be another live. But you're going to meet the client. You're going to do a walk around, and you're going to cast vision. I would suggest that you have a little book. Actually, wait one second. In person, I'm going to hand the client a little book. And the book is going to be the different services that we do. So the book is going to be different services that we do, okay? We offer color packages. So somebody asked about color packages before. That's a line item underneath the design photo in person. They see it right here, okay? Your different photos, your different holidays, different wreaths that they can have, columns, bows, garland, trees, more trees, commercial, different holidays, okay, permanent lighting, so there's a lot of all that. So I'm going to cast vision, and I'm going to hand the client that book, okay, and I'm going to say, okay, awesome, and I'm going to go over here, and I said, wouldn't it be awesome if we do this? Wouldn't we be, oh, that would look amazing. That would be, this, that, and the third. I hand them the book, and I say, okay, give me 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to take some measurements. And then what I'd like to do is I'd like to come in, sit down at your kitchen table, and we just go over all the options. Here's a little book. Check it out. And what I would like for you to do is come up with 3 questions for me. That's a Brian Richardson. Brian Richardson owns Precision Pro Wash. He has locations all over, but that's a Brian Richardson move. He's like, here's the book. Ask I want you asking me questions. He does that with soft washing or whatever. So when he goes in and talks to the client, he doesn't like sitting at the kitchen table. He likes sitting at a front porch or whatever. I say kitchen table if it's raining or hot out or cold out or whatever. I just say, what I'd like to do is sit down at the kitchen table, go over all the options, and then you just tell me what you'd like to do. It's and here's the book. Here's some examples. I want you coming up with a few questions for me, and we're going to spend as much time or as little time. And my only goal is to answer every single one of your questions so that you can make an informed decisions and let me know what you want to do by the end of that phone call or by the end of that conversation. So then I take 10, 15, 20 minutes. I come up with my design photo. I come up with my line items. I have it all right there in my CRM. I take out my phone. They have the book, and I say, oh, what questions do you have for me? And I spend time on the question. I say, awesome, yeah, we can do this. Now look, and then I flip through the book, and I show them I actually came up, which one of these do you like? Oh yeah, we can do this. And actually, you said you don't like that. Okay, I apologize. I did create a line item for that, but all my stuff is optional. But I'll go over it with you here in a little bit. And then I go over the book. I go over the line items. I say, how does that sound? Oh, we love it. We love this. Or I need to talk to my spouse. Okay. You know, I got a phone call real quick. How about I step out, come back in 15 minutes, or go ahead and do it. You got to read the room, but it's a people thing when you're meeting them there in person. Don't be too pushy. You're there to serve them, but you got to be pushy enough that you leave there with a deposit. Okay. You should be closing 70, 80% of your in-person appointments. You should be closing them, and they should be your higher ticket appointments. If that's not the case, you're doing something wrong. You're not good. You need to plug in with Brian Richardson. You need to plug in with Chris Johnson. Get some training on in-person sales. So with that, guys, I'm going to go back and start reading some of the questions. And we're right at the hour mark. That was my goal. I want to give you an overview. What I didn't talk about today, I want to reiterate, is I didn't talk about, hey, give a bunch of discounts and that's the only way to sell something. I talked about the process of closing jobs, the process of getting good quality leads and then closing jobs. I gave you different ways of doing it. What I would like for you to do, if you're brand new, don't spend a lot of money, figure it out. Get your foot in the door. You need to dip your toes in the water, and you need to do that this year. That's the wrong thing I clicked on. I don't know why that popped up. But get your toes in the water and get started this year, okay? Okay, so I'm starting to see some questions come up. Here's what I will say. It's a sneak preview or whatever. We have a lot of resources and a lot of training coming out online for people who are going to be part of CLC University. It's going to be very cost effective, and all these resources are going to be in one place for you. I don't want to share too much right now, but the first stage of that, the very basic stage, is going to go live Monday of next week on the 15th. So we're going to have a lot of that information, a lot of those resources available to everybody online who would like to have access to that. There's also a lot of other resources in our group, Christmas Light Contractors. You can go to the group, ask for questions and stuff like that. I'm happy to share it with you there. This book right here cost me, I bought a bunch of them. They cost me $7 a pop. But guys, I hope you got value out of the live. My goal was to share with you how we are closing jobs. We are between 70 and 80% close rate right now, this time of year, because of referrals, because we're not paying for a bunch of tire kickers. I'm not having to filter through all that, nor do I want to. I'm focusing on, now's the time of year I can spend a lot more time with my premium, good quality stuff. I'm doing sniper approach, not doing shotgun approach. I'm spending very little money, and we're investing time right now. That will transition in September and October and November. That'll transition to, we spend a lot more money in less time. So with that, let me bring up the, let me share a couple of resources real quick since we're at the end of the video. Last day, that's why I brought that up. All right, it is the last day of free shipping, okay? We had a Christmas in July special for everybody. So if you go to, click on this, click right there. You click on that, go here, and you need to buy something. You're gonna save your shipping costs. Doesn't matter if it's a $20 order and it costs CLC money, or you're buying a $10,000 order and you actually save a substantial amount on shipping, all right? But today is literally the last day. I don't want to hear anybody crying. Tomorrow. We already extended it to today because we forgot to take it off the website, and we just wanted to be fair. So that's why that's up. We have trainings coming up. So this week, okay, is Fred, can you tell me if this is a mistake? It's like, it's really cheap. So before Fred fixes that, I think he only has 1 or 2 slots left. If you want to come to an in-person training, click on that stupid QR code, take a screenshot, whatever. And sign up for the in-person training this week in Connecticut. You'll be up there with Fred. Fred's an OG installer. He's been around for, I don't know, like 13 years or something ridiculous. So he knows it all, seen it all. Everybody loves Fred. Fred is as honest as the day is long. But I don't know why. That's the price. Oh gosh, that's ridiculous. So everybody who came to my training, I don't know, you paid more money, but that's the price for whatever reason. Fred figured that out. All right, our next one, if you're coming to the huge convention, we have an all-day training on August 22nd, okay? On August 22nd, we are doing an all-day training. At the beginning of the day, it's going to be getting you up to $100,000 in revenue, and then after lunch, it's going to be getting you past that and beyond. Our keynote speaker, well, not a keynote speaker, but our speaker with the largest business is actually a $6 million commercial business. It's not Patrick Walden. It's somebody you have not heard from. They are fresh. They are fired up. It's a husband and wife combination, and they both operate different parts of their business. And so they're going to be speaking, and that's going to be the after lunch, getting you past the $100,000 mark. So that's a really good price. $199. Come out. It's going to be a packed room. You're going to get a lot of value. And if you're already coming to the huge convention, I promise you're going to get a lot of value out of this training on August 22nd. And then the huge convention is August 23rd and 24th. We will have a big booth with a display, and you know, come out and talk to us, ask us one-on-one questions, anything like that over the next several days. You should be able to get a lot of information. So if you're in the power washing industry, window cleaning, soft wash, anything like that, and you're planning on coming out to the huge convention, it's something to consider checking out. Dude, Lee's coming. Awesome, Lee, man. I can't wait to talk to you, man. I promise you, I don't do drugs, and I'm like this for 3 straight days. I'm at this volume level. It doesn't matter if the booth right next to us is going to have like PA speakers blasting. You will be able to hear me across the vendor space, and I'm like at this energy level for 3 days straight. It is nuts, and you'll be like, that dude, if he ever did drugs, he would be able to like conquer the world with the amount of energy that comes out of his mouth. But you know, anywho, dude, I'm like this all the time. So Lee, you're gonna get like double barrel Christmas light energy August 22nd through the 25th. So there we go. All right, I want to bring up questions. So bear with me, guys. I got to scroll up. There's a lot of questions. I appreciate everybody sticking around. I will go through each one as best I can, and but at this point, you know, I've done my part about sticking to the 1 hour time frame, and I just try to be respectful of everybody's time. Okay, so right here, I can't read it right there. Nathan asked, how many you got working for you now? My crew, believe it or not, for my install company is pretty small. We have myself and my wife. My wife helps out with the quoting. I spend about 2 to 5 hours a week in the business year round. I might spend a little bit more than that in my install company in season, but not much more than that. My wife spends no time year round, and she does some of the quoting in season. So there's myself and my wife. We have a CSR, and we have right now 3 crew leaders. Those will turn into 3 crews in season. So we keep 3 crew leaders on. Those will turn into 3 crews. Did I say CLC University, Brian? That might have slipped. But yes, I did say CLC University. That is my business. So we'll probably be a business of 10 in season. So right around 10 people in season. All right, scroll down. I'm sorry, I was supposed to hide that while I was giving the answer. Okay. I have a tiny head. Yes, I know I have a tiny head. That's just because it's down there. Now that you see, it's my big old head. Okay, so right here, CLC asked about what about custom colors? All right, so that means they're asking, do I install custom color patterns in my business? What I do is essentially some of these color patterns right here. All right, so in my quotes, I give this as a text-only line item, and I say, here are your options. You can have Holly Jolly, which is green, green, red, red. You can have Classy Christmas, which is white, red, white, green. You can have pure white. You can have multicolor. You can have Candy Cane, which is red, red, white, white. And then you can have Winter Wonderland, which I think is blue and white. So those are the options. I don't do color patterns outside of it. Well, I mean, I'll do like a holiday. I'll do breast cancer. I'll do like Ramadan or something like that. You know, so I'll do other holidays. But I don't do like, I want a green, then a teal, then a pink, and then it's like, I don't do that. So I don't do one-off color patterns, but I do offer options. Okay. Wreaths are expensive for the good ones. You are absolutely right. So there's two schools of thought when it comes to wreaths, okay? And we'll talk about a 60-inch wreath. Dramatic pause. You can go to Sam's Club and buy a wreath for 150, 200 bucks. I know from experience, those wreaths last one season looking good. After that, they fade. So they fade with just a couple of months use, and they just don't look good. They don't look premium. If I'm charging a couple $1,000, I want all my stuff to look perfect. My standard is perfection, okay? And a Sam's Club wreath does not last and look amazing more than one, maybe 2 seasons at most, okay? What I would highly suggest you do is, I wish I had a link for you, but go to, oh, there we go, lights for sale, right there. Go to lightsforsale.com and check out the Million wreaths, and even better than those are the HBL wreaths, okay? The HBL and the S4 wreaths, I don't know if we have the S4 wreaths listed yet. S4 wreaths are like top. HBL is like a teeny tiny hair less than them. Million is like a lower end of the professional grade. Sam's Club is like homeowner version. But I would encourage you to invest in a good quality wreath. I got those things that I've left up year round, and they haven't faded, and they look good, and they fluff real well. They look very full. Your lights, the Million wreath matches the Million light bulb. You can have a perfect design. All the warm white tones are perfect. So that would be my advice to you if you're an established company. Invest in good quality greenery. Order whatever. Order 20 of them a year and get those installed. Start building your inventory, because you start buying 10, 20 Sam Clubs wreath a year, and what you'll find is after 1 or 2 years, you're throwing them away, and it's just money coming in and money going out, and you're not actually making as much profit per wreath as if you pay $300, $400 for a wreath and it lasts for 5 or 10 years. Yeah, yard signs, door knockers. All right, so a lot of the comments coming up next are how to get leads. All right, everybody's giving you their 2 cents. All right, so I missed this one, but Fred said oh God, I can't even read. Free pitch offer to the first person that shares the live to 5 pressure washers or Christmas light groups with screenshots. All right, so if you guys shared this live to 5 pressure washing or Christmas light groups, and you take those screenshots and you send them to Fred, he's going to send you a pitch hopper. So Fred loves those pitch hoppers, man. I like that. That's funny. All right. Golly, there's a lot of comments this live. I know we're losing a few folks. Sorry, it's just taking a while to scroll through everything. Okay. Jared, I didn't even see you hop on here. We got 2,021 customers who didn't book in 2022 or 2023 back in January. It works, okay? So JC actually is one of the few people in the U.S. who has a 7-figure Christmas light installation business. He will also be speaking at the Huge Convention. All right, he'll be speaking at CLC at the Huge Convention. So he's one of our speakers. He just said he had clients that 3 years ago signed up, and the last 2 seasons did not, and they will be clients again this year. So when I told you to reach out, that's a lot better return than going and spending money on people who've never even understood the value. Let me give you another analogy, okay? If you're going to start a if you're going to start a landscaping company, it is a lot easier to convert somebody who's already paying for professional landscaping to your company by going around, knocking on doors, handing out flyers, whatever. It is a lot easier to convert them to your business than it is for somebody who has weeds that are grown 6 or 5 foot tall in their yard, and you're trying to talk that person into the value of having a perfectly manicured yard and hiring you to come out every 7 to 10 days to cut their grass. It will never happen. So when you're paying for cold leads, you're dealing with a lot of people who would love for their house to look like this, but they don't have that house and they don't have that budget. But they think that they can get that for $300, and you got to sort through all the tire kickers. You know, the person who hired you 2 years ago, they hired you for a reason. Something came up, and they're a lot more likely to hire you again. What is my average ticket? Random question, okay? What is my average ticket? What is the average ticket? I don't know what the average ticket is. I can tell you the average linear footage of roof line, C9 roof line on a residential home is 150 to 175 feet. And if you're just looking at that, on average, people probably, in all honesty, charge less than $5 a foot on average across the U.S. In our group, that average is probably a lot higher because we train people how to do it. We show them how to do that. I'm averaging $2,200 to $2,500 average ticket. Yeah, so there you go. There are some average numbers for you. Year one, I quoted just what the client asked for. My average ticket was $700. The following year, I gave them options, and it increased my average ticket by $1,000. I didn't do anything different. I just had a lot more leads, and I gave all those leads a lot more options, and my average ticket went from $700 to $1,700 with that one change. All right. How often are you following up with existing clients who don't respond in July? Okay, that is a great question. So I start following up with my clients at takedown. So that starts in January. That's worth noting. All right. I start even before then, around Christmas. After Christmas Day, I send them an email saying, hey, your takedown's automatically scheduled. Do you have a preferred? You want us to take them down right away? You want us to schedule each at the end of the month? You know, what's your preference? And by the way, do you know that you want to sign back up again for next year? All right, let us know. I plant that seed at takedown. Hey, we just took down your lights. You ready to, how do you want to, do you want to change your design for next year? Here's your 3 payment options. Okay, so I'm planting those seeds, and I'm doing that starting at the day after Christmas, and then at takedown in January, right? And then in July, Christmas in July, everybody does that. So it's just another natural way. I'll be honest with you, I don't do a ton of follow-up between my takedown follow-up and my Christmas in July follow-up. I just don't do a whole lot. And that's because it usually, to do a quality follow-up at takedown, might take a month or two to get through all of my clients, because I'm emailing them, texting them, phone calling them, make sure they're happy. And that sometimes takes 30, 60 days to do that. So I'm doing that for a while. Same thing in July. Like, my follow-up in July is going to take the entire month. It's not like I just send an email out on the 1st and I followed up with my clients. Like, this takes time and planning, and we got spreadsheets, and we have, this is when we emailed them, and this was their response or no response, and this is when we text them, this is when we phone call, this is a response, this is what they want. We create quotes, we change. Like, there's a lot of back and forth. That takes 30, 60 days to do that. And that's a process. And so at the end of that, it's time. It's the end of August. It's going to September again. We just do the same thing again, right? So from now till, really the end of October, we're just doing this whole thing, but we're just taking our time with each client. We're not rushing it, and we're giving each client the time that they deserve. So it's not like how much time, or how much follow-up you do. It's like, it's a process. Okay, so Carrie said, I'm late to the party. You may have said this already, but roughly how many installs do I do a year? Roughly 300. Yeah. Roughly 300. My goal for an experienced crew is $10,000 a day worth of installs, and for like a brand new crew or an unexperienced crew is like $5,000 to $6,000 a day worth of installs. Last year, for the last couple of years, we've done right around 300 residential installs. When I'm saying all these numbers, guys, I'm not including my big commercial. I don't even know if I have photos in here of my big commercial. That's just completely different. Like, I count, even this is an HOA. I count that as a residential, guys. That's like a $5,000 HOA job. That's what I'm talking about when I'm sharing these numbers. Like, a commercial job could be a 6-figure job. I'm not including that when I share these numbers. I definitely don't do 300 commercial installs. I just do a handful of those. Okay. Will this live be safe to rewatch? Just got home to be with the kids and I have missed at least 40 minutes. So Kevin, yeah, you're good. We upload it to YouTube, so you can go to YouTube and search Christmas Light Contractors. So Bob Matthews said, I can do it for $3,300, and I'll tell you what, Mr. Jones, I give you $500 for that box of old Christmas lights you wanted me to hang. They're collecting dust, hang there collecting dust in your garage. Okay, so what Bob is talking about right there, and Bob is a great resource. He's an awesome light installer. What he's saying is when a client's asking you to install their lights, he says, that's not the service that we provide, but what I'll do is I'll give you a credit for those lights. Let me buy those lights from you. How much did you spend? 500 bucks? This is how we do business, okay? We do all inclusive. Let me buy those lights from you. If I can reuse some of it, I'll do it. And if not, I'll recycle them at whatever. But this is the service that we offer, and I'll buy those lights from you or give you a discount or whatever. That's how I handle it as well. Okay, Brian Jensen, do you pre-qualify before doing the estimate? Absolutely, okay? This time of year, for a brand new client, we don't do as hard a pre-qualifying because of the way that we're getting those leads. If it came from a referral, we don't pre-qualify as hard. If it came through Facebook, absolutely, because that could be a 7% conversion rate through Facebook ads or Google ads might be like 10%, right? So I'm pre-qualifying very hard because you get 100 leads in a day times 10 minutes. That's 1,000 minutes divided by 60. Oh gosh, what's that math? So let's say 120. So we're at 1,200 leads, right? Which would be 20 hours. So you spend 20 hours a day. So if you got 3 people on staff doing nothing but constantly giving quotes, that's 3 people full time, 8 hours a day doing leads with hardly any break. It's just not attainable, right? So you have to pre-qualify as you're getting more leads. That's something that we teach at CLC University. Like as your amount of leads that come in, as that goes up, you need to pre-qualify more. And so that way you're spending 30 seconds with that person on the phone, 30 seconds with that person online, and you're never going out there in person unless they're going to fit into that 70 to 80% closing rate. So especially if you're going out in person, you have to pre-qualify very hard. A CSR or yourself. You need to give them an average price for the home. Make sure they're okay with that. You need to make sure that they are living in a neighborhood that you want to be in, that they're not 3 hours, So you got to pre-qualify a lot harder when you have more leads and you're doing quoting in person. All right, Ryan said, trying to get more active referrals now or next month. Would offering a referral credit card be something good to send out soon to get referrals moving now? So absolutely, give it a shot because it doesn't hurt, unless you get referrals. Or, it could be like, hey, something to think about is like, hey, for every referral you send me, I'll give you another $100 worth of lights on your house, or something like that. So I'll give you another 50 bucks worth of lights on your house. So instead of giving a discount or a Visa gift card or something, it's like, what about that person? They've already hired you, but you maxed out their budget. And it's like, oh, wow. So if they don't even have to sign up, but if I give you the names and numbers of 5 of my friends to call, you'll give me another $500 worth of lights on my house. So say like up to 500 bucks or, whatever. You're like, oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. Here's 5 people. That would be a lot more effective for referrals than a gift card or a discount or something like that. So that's what I would encourage you to do for trying to solicit a referral. The other thing would be is I will take a review online, a Google review or a shout out on social media or something like that, tagging my business over a refer to a friend. That's a lot more valuable to me. Again, a review is a referral online that lasts forever for the lifetime of your company until maybe you get like 150 or something like that reviews. Then reviews are less valuable because everybody who goes there is like, oh my gosh, they got 147 5-star reviews. They got 1 3-star review and they got 2 1-star reviews. Let me read that. you respond to the one or two one-star reviews in a very professional manner. Yeah, at that point, you don't need more reviews. You want them to naturally trickle in. But I would focus now, if you don't have good reviews on your Google profile, I would focus on getting reviews now than I would referrals from pre-existing clients. That's just my advice to you. Oh, look, my wife is on here. I didn't even realize that. Okay, so Lauren is one that closes all of my quotes for the most part. Right now she's closing them. So Lauren says, yes, we pre-qualify by giving them a minimum for roofline only. If that minimum works, then we will quote them for a full design. So if somebody, what we mean by that is if somebody, it's real quick to work up a design for the roof line. So she'll actually right now find their photo online and do the red outline showing exactly what part of the roof line we're talking about. And in that first response email after they send in a request to get a quote, we respond with, hey, for this is a picture of your home. For the red area that we've outlined, it's going to be $1,500. If you're okay with that, we'd like to work up a full design. And by the way, what colors do you like? What do you think about having lit up? And a bunch of other questions. So that's one way that we pre-qualify people. Facebook likes to bang that card. That's right. Okay, Carl said, I own an existing gutter business. What's a good way to add it to my GMB or showcase it there? Blogs and pictures. So if you have an existing GMB and an existing business, add it as a product or service. Now, and get reviews and add photos. Do all of that, but you're going to get limited results. You're not going to get the same results as if you brand a standalone type business. I would encourage you, if you get serious about having a lighting business, to go ahead and create a DBA or a separate LLC and set up its own online brand. Register that with the state first. Set up a DBA or register it with the state first, and then try to get a new Google profile. That's my advice if you're going to take this business seriously, because then Google knows, oh, this is a lighting business, they offer this, and it makes sense for Google to send them to you. Right now, if you have years and years and years of history of Google sending you gutter cleaning leads, you got to do a lot of work to reprogram Google to now send you Christmas light leads. It's just a completely different client. And that's come from personal experience. Okay, what about permanent? So did that pop up? Okay. What about permanent? We have spent a lot of time and money doing research on permanent lighting. And here's what we found. Permanent lighting, the catalyst to get people to buy is the same time frame as Christmas lights. People don't think about it. They don't really pull the trigger until Christmas light season. So permanent lighting, while you can, if you're actively going out there, you could probably close 5-10 jobs a month. I mean, 10, well, okay, maybe like 5 jobs a month. If you're a huge organization, spend just a ridiculous amount on advertising, maybe 10 jobs a month, right? But you're going to be working full-time, 40, 50 hours a week to close those jobs, all right, in the off season. And we've done the research. We've done it across the country. We've done a lot of markets. We've paid for advertising. We've done it with commercial. We've done it with residential. We know all of the brands. And when I say we, it's Tyler Zimmerman. He works 50, 60, 70 hours a week. And this is his entire job at CLC is permanent lighting, okay? We've done it all. We know it all. We've done the research, all right? Just trust us. Don't spend a lot of money advertising for permanent lighting right now. You should be getting maybe a 3 to 5x return if you are spending money. If you're not getting that, just stop or find another advertising company. That's my advice for you. And then focus on being able to get those clients in September, October, November, and December. And what my strategy is if I don't have time to put up the permanent lights, with Mindley and Permanent Lighting, you can actually purchase the permanent lighting, and we have these temporary clips. So you can clip it on gutters and shingles. You can mount it temporary, so in like the same time frame as it would take to put up temporary lighting. It won't take you all day. You put it up, and then you come back in January, February, and the time for takedown, and you permanently mount the track, and you add the screws and blah blah, and you mount it permanently that it'll be up there forever. But that way, if you want lights right now, you can either put up temporary lights or put up the permanent light temporary. You come back after your temporary season's done and you permanently mount it. And you just build all that into your pricing. This is going to be the longest Donovan has gone without eating anything. I do got a whole bowl of mini wheats. I just haven't eaten because I think my 2-year-old was in here earlier. He left his mini wheats, but he stole my glass of water. So you can't eat a bowl of mini wheats and not have some water or milk. Yeah, so this is the truth. Everybody asks, like, I'm 6'2" or 6'3". I don't know how tall I am, but my wife is telling the truth right there. Sometimes I'll focus so much on working that I actually just forget to eat or whatever. That's why I'm like a $190. I think the most I've ever weighed in my life is like right under 200 pounds or right at 200 pounds. But I'm probably sitting at like a $190 right now. I'm 6'2", $190. Like I'm pretty skinny, and that's just because sometimes I'll work so much I don't eat till my wife makes me something to eat at the end of the day. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna skip through it. I know we're losing some interest, but okay. At what point is there too many line items? How do you offer a 5K job to every house like gingerbread and some other things? Well, look, my wife responded to that right afterwards. So, oops. So Lauren said, we offer more line items if their budget will allow for it. Otherwise, the design is roof line, maybe a wreath and columns. So yeah, we always try to give them a line item or a package for what they told us their budget is. When they send a request, they have to select a price range for their budget. All right. And then we try to give them a package or a line item that fits that, and then we try to stretch it a little bit. If somebody tells me that their budget is $1,000, there's no sense in giving them $5,000, $10,000 worth of line items. But absolutely, I'm going to give them, a $1,000 line item, and then another $200 line item, and then maybe a $300, $400, $500 line item, and I'm going to add them a couple other ones because I'm going to try to stretch that budget to $1,500, $2,000. I'm going to try to do that. But if somebody's like, look, budget's not an option, well, I'm just going to go in and I'm going to say, here's everything that I can think of. Or if that's like a $2 million house, I'm going to deck that bad boy out with, or bad girl out. I don't want to be sexist on a live. All right. That house can be a bad boy or a bad girl, but I'm going to deck that thing out with as many line items as will look good on that property. How do you charge for changing lights? For example, Halloween. Okay. We just do a flat price. So it's like $300 or $500 to swap them out. This year, I'm going to try something new. I'm going to invest in like probably 50 grand or something, 100 grand worth of the permanent lighting, the Minlian permanent lighting. And I'm going to set it up using the temporary clip. So I'm going to go out there and I'm going to set it up in the beginning of September. And then, November 1st, I go by and I push a button and I install the greenery and it changes it over because it takes the same amount of time to change a light bulb as it does to reinstall a job. So, if I were to take it down and reinstall it, it would take more time, but it takes the same amount of time to unscrew a bulb like a Christmas light theme and put in a Christmas light theme, to unscrew a Halloween theme and put in a Christmas light theme. So this is a Halloween theme. It is a purple, purple, green, green. And I don't know if I have the house up here, but we switch it over to Christmas, which is just all warm white or multicolor or candy cane or something, right? But it takes the same amount of time as me putting up the Halloween job as when I come back and I got to unscrew all the bulbs. So charge accordingly. But what I'm going to do this year is it's going to cost me a little bit more money. But the other thing is when you're unscrewing bulbs and screwing in another one, you're more likely to have a bad connection. So the lights are up longer, so you're going to have more touch-ups. You're going to have a bad connection because it was screwed in there for 2 months and you had a bunch of weather, and then you unscrew it and then you screw in a new bulb, and that the connection at the bottom of the socket, it's going to already be depressed a little bit. And so when you screw in the new bulb, it's less likely to not have a good connection. So you're just going to have more touch-ups if you're swapping out bulbs. That's the truth of it. And so you need to charge accordingly. All right, so this little booklet brochure, we waited till we got them on special. They sent us an email. My wife, I think we're actually going to have them listed this year. People can buy a generic one, and then it'll be a generic one, and then right here you could just put your business card right there or something like that, and your contact information, and probably like the same thing on the last page or whatever. So we'll have a generic one, and you can buy a bunch of those. Maybe we'll buy like 1,000 or 2,000 of them and get the price down. But I think we pay right at $750 per book, because we bought like 100 or 300 of them at a time. But if we buy them through CLC and get like 1,000, 2,000 of them, we might even be able to get that price down a little bit for you guys. For Christmas in July, are you preparing their quotes ahead of time or getting their interest first before spending time making it? So there's a school of thought. I'm very much lead with trying to build a relationship, try to reach out to them. Like what we do is we email them, then we text the people who don't respond to the email or didn't open it, and then the people who don't respond to that, if we don't get a yes or no, then we're going to phone call them. Any no will do. I'm going to stop harassing them. I'm not going to keep doing it once I get a no from them. And if I don't hear back from any of that, yeah, we'll probably just work up a quote and send it to them what they did last year. We send it to them, and you'll be surprised how many people get that, and they just pay the deposit. They just didn't want to talk to us. And they were planning on doing it, but they didn't know who were calling, or the quote, the phone call went to the husband who was busy, and the wife got the quote, and then she just clicked approved, or vice versa, something like that. So that's what we do. I know some people, they just work up the same quote as last year, but I tried to talk to them, because what if they want an upsell? You know what I mean? What if they didn't do that $2,000, $3,000 tree? This is a 40-foot tall tree, and I think we charge $2 or $3 grand to put C9 bulbs on it. But what if they didn't do that last year, but they want to do that this year? I don't want to just send them a quote and they just approve it, where I don't even have a chance to talk to them and give them that option. I don't want to just assume. I want to serve that client at the highest level. So when you're thinking about, dang it, I clicked it twice. So when you're thinking about reaching out to your existing clients, the way that I do it is I send them an email, I send them a text message to people who don't respond to email. I phone call the people who don't respond to the text message, because each of those subsequently take more time. And if I just can't get any of that, then I will just work up a design that they had last year and send them a quote. Here's the other thing that I will do. My brand new, as it gets closer to the season, my brand new people who are going to be quoting this year, I let them work up that quote on an existing client. I say, hey, this client we haven't heard from or whatever, I want you to work up a brand new quote for them and see how accurate you are, and then go and compare that to the quote that we did for them last year and see how close you were. And that's something that will help train them. What the line items are. Did they do the design photo correctly? Did they add the proper line items on that quote? Was the pricing that the client paid last year close to the pricing that they bid it at this year? So I use that also as a tool to train the brand new people, my brand new CSRs, who are going to be helping us quote for the very first time this year, and to get people back in the process of that. Where did I get the picture books from? I got no clue. Sorry. I'll try to find that out and let everybody know. And then, like I said, if we can get some generic ones made, I'll try to have them listed at lightsforsale.com, that you guys just go there and buy how many ever you need. So that way, you might only want to buy 20 of them or one of them. Like, I don't care. But that way you don't have to pay for as much as we pay. What HBL wreath do you guys use? I forget if it's the Mixed Noble or the Douglas Fir. One of them has pine cones in it. I don't do the pine cone one. I do the other one. So check out the Mixed Noble and the Douglas Fir. I believe those are the two top selling ones. I personally don't like pine cones. And then I actually buy ornaments. So I'll either buy the Mixed Noble or the Douglas Fir. I personally don't buy the one with the pine cones, and then I will actually add ornaments to the wreath, and we'll do design packages. This year, we're actually going to list from, it's called CLD. We're going to have CLD professional grade greenery with professional decorations on them. And we're going to have 3 different options for you guys for wreaths. And I think it's 48-inch wreaths and garland and 9-foot and 4.5 foot that you can buy professional grade wreaths with professional lights and professional decorations on them already made. And I promise you, this is the best quality stuff you've ever seen in your entire life. You're going to be spending more money on it, and you're going to pay a little bit more for shipping because they're coming from Arizona. But it is the highest quality stuff you've ever seen in your entire life. What was that one charge giving them options? I'm sorry, I don't know what you're referring to. Okay, last question. Carl asks, what dates, is that one up? Yeah, what dates do you install through October, November, December? All right, that's a great question. So, oops. Oh, it's still crooked. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'm going to repeat this because we'll probably turn it into a video short or something. So Carl asked, what dates do you install through? October, November, December. So Carl, in my personal business, I will start at the beginning of September. I live in North Carolina, and we don't get a lot of bad weather. So I will start in September with my Halloween lighting jobs. Okay, that runs up until about 2 weeks before October. And then at that time frame, we switch to installing Christmas lights. Okay, so my roofline only Christmas lights. So this right here minus the wreath, we'll start installing those like the last full week into, 2 weeks into October, we'll install those. And then November 1st, we start installing all of our greenery and bushes and all that stuff. We go full-fledged really with those November 1st, and then we come back out and we change our Halloween jobs to Christmas light jobs. Every year, you'll go through about the 5th to the 10th of December, where the leads, one day you'll have 50 leads, the next day you'll have 3, and the next day you'll have 0. So every year between the 5th and 10th of December, the leads will just fall off one day. And that depends on your marketing and your market and stuff like that, where those new leads will come in. And then if you have until then to be quote new jobs, and if you're a little behind on your installs, that might carry you till the 10th or 15th of December. And what I will tell you is after the 10th to 15th of December, very few people will pay my rates for having a brand new install. They just say, we just get it all the time. They say, you know what? We're going to do it next year, but this year, that's just too expensive to only have the lights up 1 week before Christmas or something like that. I'll have a few random stragglers, but what gets approved or whatever will go from like a couple a day to like 1 or 2 a week or something weird like that. So what I do at that point is I will email all of the jobs that we've put lights up for. If we have any decorations left over, like wreaths or bows or extra mini lights or something like that, and we'll send an email blast out to everybody saying, hey, hope you're enjoying your lights. Your takedowns automatically scheduled in January. But we have a few extra decorations. If you wanted to add anything extra to this year's design, we have a limited availability and a limited amount of decorations, but here's some photos that we might be able to add to your design. And I focus on those through Christmas. And then at Christmas, the day after Christmas, we email everybody again saying, hey, your takedown is scheduled automatically for January if we don't hear from you, but let us know if you want it to be earlier or say till the end of the month, what's your preference? If you have a preference, if we don't hear from you, it's automatically scheduled. And also, if you want to go ahead and improve your design for next year, then let us know what you'd like to do for going into next year. So we do that the day after Christmas, and then we go and we start our takedowns. Some people saying, I want my lights down right away. But for my business, typically we start doing, we don't really do any takedowns until January 1st. Some people, we might be able to sneak it in between the week of Christmas and New Year's. A lot of times we'll just take that week off, but I usually have about one crew that likes to work. So they'll either be doing touch-ups, they'll do takedowns or gutter cleans during that time frame. We try to get all of our lights down by the 15th of January. And almost everybody who doesn't purposely want to wait, we have the lights down by the 15th of January, the 21st by the absolute latest. And then we're reaching out to them again to sign back up. and we're doing gutter cleaning from then on out. So, and permanent lighting, the people that will start doing our permanent lighting jobs and gutter cleaning from that standpoint. So hope that helped. Hope we answered a lot of your questions. We're going on an hour and 45 minutes, so I've talked a lot. I'm going to hop off here. I'm going to go spend some time with my family before it gets too dark and eat some food. So with that, guys, hope to see you on next week's live. I believe it might be Tyler who's doing the live. He's going to be focusing on permanent lights. Yeah, hope to see you guys then. Check out, free shipping. Today's the absolute last day for free shipping. And then our next big training is going to be at the Huge Convention. So check it out. If you're already coming to the Huge Convention, click on that QR code. Love to see you out there on August 22nd. All-day training, getting you to $100,000 and then beyond. And then we're, swing by our booth on the 23rd and 24th to answer any questions. So with that, guys, God bless. Take care. And hope you got a lot of value out of this week's live.